Well, hello, everyone who's going to EULAR with us. This is Tiffany, and I have been one of your guides through going in this experience. So if you've had an opportunity to watch some of the sessions that we have reviewed throughout June and July, wonderful. I'm going to actually give you a little bit more insight on how to navigate through the Go to EULAR activity page that you are now in on the AI Arthritis Voices site so that you can get more involved over the next couple of weeks as we wrap up our journey to EULAR. So let me share my screen. Oh, and look, where am I? I am by the posters and abstracts, and that is planned for a reason because we have done the sessions. Now it's time to move on to the posters and abstracts. So let's share my screen and let's go to, what do we want to go to first? Let's go to, okay. I'm going to go to AI Arthritis Voices. All right, so when you log into AI Arthritis Voices, you're going to see a variety of activity pages over here on the side. Now, I'm going to do a separate video that is posted on the main page to explain this in more detail. So we're sort of going backwards by me explaining what's happening in the activity group. But the bottom line is this is your home page. Any activity group that is available that you can see. Some of these are under construction. That's why you're like, I don't see those. You won't because I'm an admin of the site. But there are some that that everybody will see. And one of them is Go to EULAR. When you click on it, you actually see the activity page, what's inside. Those who are not members of the site would see a screen that says enter a password. This is private. So essentially, in a nutshell, the home page is just that. It's a landing page. So where all of the activity happens is inside each of these. These are like little hubs. And so each one of these little hubs has its own news feed, its own tabs, its own breakout experiences. Everything happens in the activity pages. So this, again, is your landing page. And there's some extra information up here that I will go over in an overview of the entire site. But let's just get you going in EULAR. So if you click on your Go With Us to EULAR page, every activity page has an about. So you land on the about, it tells you about. So it tells you what's in here. All of these tabs, every activity page has a news feed. It's just called news feed. We cannot change the name of it, just like we can't change the name of activity pages. Pages is the name of it. So that's what we have to call it. We'd like to be able to call it a hub or something, but just so newsfeed is where all of the posts that you can comment on happen. So anything that we want your feedback on is going to be under newsfeed. That's important for you to understand. The other tabs are for information. You cannot comment on those. So we give you an overview of what it's like to be at a conference, all the different elements of it. Also on this page, on the conference overview, if you want, there's still time, if you wanted to register to attend EULAR and see anything on your own, there is a document right here that gives you the directions. If you scroll down to the second page, I believe it is, that gives you all of it. Should I register to go with you? There it is. If you want to register, here you go. There's all your directions right at the top of the second page. So it doesn't take long, but if you want to still go in yourself, but that's under conference interview. Then we have these e-Congress news. E-Congress news are newsletters. So every morning we go to the convention center, grab our coffee, and then there's people everywhere standing there handing out these little mini newspapers. And I don't know, they're 5 or 6 pages long. And essentially they give you all of the headlines that happened in the sessions from the day before. So it's impossible to see everything. So they do their best to capture some of the hottest topics in the hottest sessions. And we always get these because plus it gives a different perspective. So if you click on these, you can go ahead and you can download them to your own computer. I recommend doing that. and they give you an overview. So for example, here's some MRI with AXPA. Maybe that's important to you. We don't cover OA, osteo at our organization, but you may find that. This is a huge topic, cardiovascular considerations in rheumatic diseases. There's one for lupus. So these have really good overviews of the sessions themselves. So you have our overviews of sessions that you will also find under the newsfeed, which I'll circle back to here in a minute. But those are other people's perspectives, okay? And then finally, you have a sessions tab. The sessions tab, so you see I'm standing in front of the posters and abstracts. That's next. We started with the sessions, and that's really how we do it at a conference. We will get our schedule. I think I have the schedule pulled up. We get a schedule and we look through it, and we start picking out which ones we want to go to, and then we either go together, we divide and go to different ones if there's good ones at different times, and that's how it works. So, oh, I was watching, I was watching one because we're doing it for a talk show airing on Sunday on treat to target in spondyloarthritis. Okay, so all this is showing you these are the sessions that we went to, and if you wanted to go to the same ones, you could find them here. So that's really all that is. So that gives you an index. So now let's go back to the newsfeed, because this is really where all of the stuff that you need to know is here. So again, anything that you see under the newsfeed, chances are it's there because we want you to give us feedback. We want you to join the conversation because that's the only tab that you can comment on. None of these other tabs, they have no areas to comment. So if you would scroll down, you would see they just end. So newsfeed, that's where you want to be. So under the newsfeed, you're going to see if you had any specific questions and answers. This is where you would want to post them. And I ended up, I think, posting a few that people might have. Yeah, I did. People might have questions. So if you had any questions about navigating the site, that would be a great place to do it. Also, Patrice is personally messaging everyone. Some of you, I think she already has, and she probably finished that already. And she's just reaching out as a site guide to make sure if you have any other questions. So you have two places. You can reply to Patrice, or you could ask in this question and answer. And that could be about going to EULAR, about navigating this page, just anything. Ask the question. So then we have our recording. So first we have introduce yourself. So if you haven't not introduced yourself yet, go ahead and do that. If you do not need to add a photo, some did. We respect privacy in this site, and we know that some of you do not want your identities known, and that's completely fine. You can still say hello if you'd like. You don't have to reveal who you really are. There's no problem with that. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Then we have some of our watch parties. There's a view more button, so there are more down here. So you're going to see all of our June that we recorded are under this tab. Okay, so you could click to watch any of those, and it gives you an overview of what we covered. So if you're like, oh, I really just wanted to know about pre and post-operative guidance in RA, well, then just go to this debrief, fast forward a little till you find it. And then down here, you could, I posted some silliness down here. That was, look how serious I am. And it just shows you how focused, because I had no idea that Therese and Stephanie were being silly with chocolate in their teeth next to me. And this was actually, this was at the same one. And we were at a session, this was at the Rheumatology Nurses Society. And I got a text from one of our friends at the Arthritis Foundation, and it said, I see you. And so they took that picture of us from behind because they were behind us. Anyway, so if you have questions or comments or anything on these debriefs, that's the place to do it. And then the same thing with the live. So we would invite you, go ahead, watch some of these. If this is something that was of interest to you, you can click and watch the episode on YouTube. Now, this is the way we were doing it until a couple days ago when we finally received some, figured out how to embed the YouTube on here. But right now, if you click, you could go, it will take you out of the site and to YouTube. And when you see streaming start soon, you can advance. It just recorded while we were waiting. It should. There you go. And I have comorbidities as. So you can watch it there, and then you can reply. So you can add your comments and questions about each session. And the reason that that's important, there's 2 reasons that we do these session overviews that makes us unique and goes with our mission. So we have dissemination of research. So yes, like other organizations, we want you to know what's happening. And a lot might do that with an article or a social media post. We do take it a little bit further, and we do these full sessions and from a patient perspective. So that makes it unique in itself. But what you'll find if you watch these sessions is, as people living with these diseases, we have very unique experience and perspectives, and your perspective is different than my perspective. Your experience is different than mine. So it doesn't work to only have 3 voices at the table. We need as many as possible. We need your voice. And what happens is the more people that join the dialogue and start going, wow, how would that research relate to my experience? And it starts to make us think more about what we need as a community. What are the missing links? Maybe if we address this, we can learn more, and this is what the patient wants to take away from the research. So there's a whole door that opens when we all watch these, we all communicate. So that's what we're trying to achieve, and why we're asking you, in addition to watching and learning, we really would invite you to then come to the table and join us. Go with us to EULAR. Join the conversation, and I promise you, you're going to learn even more by being part of the conversation, and you're going to be able to see how through our conversation we identify potential resources that are in need, and then as an organization, that's what we create. So your voice literally leads back to changing not only your healthcare journey, but the journey of millions around the world. So it's a pretty exciting concept for a nonprofit, we think. So that's why it's important to come to the table. All right, last but not least, I'm going to show you what's next, because I said I'm on posters. So it's not too late. You can still go back and watch these sessions. We'll still keep these posts up for you. But now let's move forward. Now let's all move forward together and start going to the posters and sessions, because when we go to a conference, first thing is we usually pick out all the sessions. Then we go back and we figure out which posters. And there's only certain times of the day, and it's usually like 9 to 11 in the morning or something like that, before the sessions start, where you could potentially find the actual one of the researchers standing in front of their poster. So that's a great opportunity to go and talk to them personally. And so that's what we're going to simulate here. So if you go to these posts, hold on. Where is it at? Let me go back. Refresh my screen. Here we go. Okay. So you're going to be able to find it, because look, it matches where I'm standing. Even the same people are behind me. It's just amazing the way that happens. So find this post, posters and abstracts. Let's do this together. So I'm going to invite you this week. So let's try and aim to do this as soon as able by Sunday, August, I think that's the 23rd. It's very simple. We have already done most of the work. There are over 2,000 of these posters and abstracts that are available at EULAR. So we've narrowed them down to 38, I think. And the way they're organized, these at the top are applicable to all of us. Even if there's a specific disease named, it still is something that we think can be important to understand and applicable to other diseases. So that's here. So maybe fatigue is something you're very interested in. Maybe the cost of how much our illnesses cost in the healthcare economy, work productivity, maybe that's important. Stressors in the year before you actually had onset, that's a really big topic here at EULAR. There's all kinds here that you could choose from. Then down here, more disease specific. Oh, actually, I just see one in here that's not disease specific. That needs to be moved up, which I will do. Biosimilar switching, that is not disease specific. That is something that a lot of us care a lot about. So I'm going to go through here and just double check this and put the ones up at the top that need to be up at the top. But the point is we want you to look through the lists and pick the top 5 or 10 that, oh, there we go. Thanks. So we've got someone who has already done this, and we're asking you to pick these top picks, because what we're going to do is we're going to average out those top picks, and we're going to pick which ones we review together. So we will have another watch party. We had fun. You should watch the watch party. We did a watch party last week, and I'll actually make sure that you know where that is. That was a really, I think personally, I feel like that was the best one. If you're going to pick a video you haven't watched yet, watch the watch party. And then go back here and pick out the top 5, 10 posters, because by Monday of next week, we're going to have that list picked, and then we're going to have another watch party. It'll be our final watch party because EULAR is coming to an end, but it's going to be based on what you want. So please go in here, please pick those out, and let's do this together. Let's go to EULAR. Here we go. It's right at the top, EULAR Watch Party Recording Precision Medicine. So we actually, this is how now we've learned how to embed the video in here. So you can watch the watch party right here. So you can click it. You can make a big screen if you want. And I wanted to you can pause it how we're anticipating when you hear something great. And look, just go right down here and add your comments, add your questions, add anything you want in these comments. And we're going to get notification that you've watched, that you have questions and comments to add. And then we're going to come back and start those conversations. So please, posters and abstracts, pick up the 10. We will schedule a watch party again next week based on those. And if you haven't yet and you want to get involved in going to EULAR with the sessions, I'm going to recommend go to this one. Let's all pick this one and start commenting. But you can also go back and watch any of the other ones and comment as well. I hope that gives you a nice tour of what's available here in the Go to EULAR. We like to say at AI Arthritis that we are professional, friendly, and always accessible. So it doesn't matter if you're the CEO like myself, or the newest volunteer, or the newest person going with us to EULAR. You are important, your voice matters, and we're all in this together. So let's do this. We've got a couple weeks left to go together. Thank you, and I will see you all very soon.